All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. Now, this is different. Kenzie, this is so different. I did all these radio shows in New York, and now I'm live on TikTok doing this Live Fest Michigas. I'm downstairs where I normally play Fortnite. I'm on the mic that you use. This mic's fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. I think this mic is great, too. I mean, you can tell a huge difference just from listening to the earlier episodes with me. And I just used my AirPods, but I didn't think that it would make this much of a difference.
This mic's great. This is a $40 mic. Not that I meant to turn this into like an Amazon plug, but it's a $40 mic that is on my Amazon storefront versus the Rodecaster board upstairs, which is a pricey board. And it works great, but sometimes less is more. So here we are.
Here we are.
Okay, so look, first off, before we even talk about anything that's been going on the live stream, we have to double back to this United Healthcare situation. And I don't have my coffee, so when I throw it to you, keep the ball in the air because I must have coffee, okay?
Find your coffee.
I was in New York City. There's no like memorial or anything. There's not and I keep talking about Samir Kanish and I feel like an old man, but he said the same thing. There's no like memorial, there's no remembrance of, and I'm not laughing, but there's no remembrance of what happened to this man. Nobody seems to care. It's wild to me.
I was just going to say that, does anybody actually care to put together a memorial? Because, I mean, I have seen so many videos and memes and all of these things around this guy, not the CEO, but, the, I guess, shooter, I'll say first. Luigi. Everybody is in love with him, his looks, his attitude. It's kind of like, it feels like Robin Hood. I know we talked about this last week, but we don't condone violence, but this is a really, really interesting situation.
Well, I make the Batman analogy, but it's very much the vigilante mentality taking over our culture. And to celebrate it is weird. Obviously, it's a tragedy. And obviously, we have issues with our healthcare system, and you can separate the two.
Yeah. Well, the funniest thing to me is that people are creating these fake alibis for him.
Yes.
The Disney one is so funny. And for anybody who hasn't seen it, somebody put his face on a cast member and just did a cast compliment on the day that the shooting happened, and was oh, Luigi was the best cast member. And I don't remember why they said
Luigi was
that
Oh,
yeah.
He showed me where all the bodies are buried.
Oh my gosh. It was so funny.
You also you can talk about how awful it is and then still laugh, I think. But that's just me, and that's the way I'm wired. And sometimes I think
it's dark humor.
Laughter's the best medicine. But here's my honestly, Kenzie, is he a good-looking guy?
He's not bad looking. I will say that. I don't want to say he's good looking because I feel like there's just some eerie. I don't know. There's just something about him that I can't call him attractive because he killed somebody.
I thought you were going to go the other way. I thought you were going to say there's something about him that makes him attractive because of that. That's what I fear is going on.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh, no. But the funny thing is that people are putting the song Criminal by Britney Spears behind his, face and stuff. The song, the lyrics are Mama, I'm in love with a criminal. I'm oh, my gosh, stop. It's kind of creepy.
I actually don't know the song. Could you sing a couple verses?
No. I know what you're trying to do.
Oh, really? So much for the
What was the song you wanted me to sing last week? The Wicked music?
Oh, yeah. I wanted you to sing Wicked. You want to do a little Wicked?
Only if you were going to do pirouettes.
I'll do pirouettes if you sing Popular.
I'm seeing it again next week.
I haven't seen it yet.
How?
I almost could have seen it on Broadway because I was right there. By the way, were you on the live stream when I was walking around Broadway at night?
Just for a little bit, I think.
So we passed The Great Gatsby. and I'm live, and it's like the show ended. So the actors, and I don't know who the actor was, but he's out back and he's signing playbills. And so I see my opportunity because we're live, and I cross the street and I like zoom in. I'm like, who is this actor? And there's like 4 people left, and he's about to just like walk off into the street, like into the night, because it's New York, right? Like, it's kind of amazing. Like, the actor does this show, signs all these autographs, and just walks away by himself, and everyone's like, bye. But when they're signing autographs, they got to stay behind the stanchions. I just find that hilarious because the stanchions just so arbitrary. But anyway, so I got up there as like the 5th person, and as he starts to walk away, I said, thank you. It was wonderful. And
He's good thing he didn't ask you what your favorite part was.
I would have said it was so hard to choose.
Yeah. So many good scenes. He's like, I was in one scene.
He's like, sir, I'm the usher.
That's so funny. I mean, I always laugh at those, little side meet and greets that people wait for, but it's fun for people. I get it.
I saw Salome on Broadway once. It was a reading, and it was Al Pacino and Marissa Tomei.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no sets, and they sat on the stage with scripts. It was a reading. But Pacino comes out at the end, and he must have had like a Suburban picking him up. And the crowd was gathered around, and he's so short that you couldn't see him over the crowd. So he had to climb up on the side of the Suburban to say hi to the crowd. Yeah, people don't realize Al Pacino's a little dude.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, actually.
But just to stay on track here. So I don't know why I would have thought there would have been some sort of like remembrance, but it's just another city sidewalk. Unless something has changed. I walked right past it without even noticing it. I just know I walked past it. I was going to Tipton.
I have to wonder if, this is a really controversial thing. Like, of course, it's tragic that somebody died, but there's a lot of people that are not agreeing with it, but just saying, this guy maybe
they're rationalizing
the best person.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to look at the history of the company. The company was hacked. There was a Bitcoin transfer. He obviously took his money out, and other people lost money. So there was some shady dealings going on. But none of this excuses the actions. And the larger issue that I have is the way that it impacts the culture.
Yeah.
And the fact that if you go back to like The Sopranos, that's like the age, like The Sopranos, The Wire, that's like the age of the anti-hero becoming the protagonist on television. So then you get to the era of Walter White. And did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I love that show.
I love Breaking Bad. Oh my God. Do you really? We could talk Breaking Bad for hours then. Oh my God. We should have a list of just things that like, and just one day, just like throw them all in a jar and just pick a topic.
Right.
Like Nintendo. So you look at Walter White and you look at all the mayhem that Walter White, all of the crime he committed. I don't even call it mayhem. That's underselling it. Look at all the murder. Look at all the crime that Walter White committed. But it was in the name of family. And even though it's a TV show, those concepts then become ingrained in the culture. And there's that old Tipper Gore argument. And you're probably like, who's Tipper Gore? Because you can Google it. But like there was that old argument of like video games influencing violence in our culture. And as much as I don't necessarily buy into that because parents are supposed to parent their children, I do think when we're talking about adults, it becomes a very different issue because who's there to parent the adults? And when you have a bunch of adults propping this guy up like he's Walter White because he did it in the name of those who have been victimized by the healthcare system, now not only are you justifying it, but you're encouraging copycats. And that's where the real problem.
Right. And, now we have all these names of these CEOs being released too. And, everybody has a target on their back at this point. And I know we talked about this a little bit last week too, but it's an interesting time for sure. That also makes me think of the show Dexter. Did you ever watch that show?
I did. I couldn't do it though. It was too much for me. Like I think I on like episode 2.
Yeah. I watched like clips. I had like a friend that was watching it and, I'd cross paths when they're watching it and you get hooked for like a little bit, but I was like, this is really gory.
You got to remind me, I have a personal story to share with you about Dexter that I can't share on the air, but you'll get a kick out.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's how you know it's really good.
Yeah.
You remember, well, you would know the different actors on the show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I won't even mention the name right here, but I got a good story for you because like Dexter was one of those shows again where they're taking the villain and they're making him the protagonist, but I couldn't do it. It was too gory. I think the reason I was good with Breaking Bad is because it wasn't just like gore, but once you start getting all that blood and splatter, I can't do that. I don't like horror movies. I like suspense and thriller.
Yeah, I do too. Especially the ones that make your mind just go a million places.
Yeah, well, that was the brilliance of Hitchcock, Did you ever watch, The Birds?
I don't think I did.
I mean, those movies are scarier than any sort of, Saw movie that you could come up with.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that.
I do like the Scream movies, at least the first couple,
Right.
But there's a fine line for me. I just don't like... So, we're getting off the tangent, but, the Dexter didn't work for me because it was too gross. What worked for me with a show, even like Weeds in the early years before that show jumped the shark, I just thought that the characters offered enough that you empathized with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if we're taking this down to the real world and looking at this Luigi guy, the reason that people are propping him up is because they empathize with what they think is his motive. It is his motive.
And there's so many different theories too as to what his motive is. I feel like we don't truly know what happened or, to him personally, or people are saying something happened to his mom, and I don't know. But I think at the end of the day, he was just pissed at healthcare.
Yeah. Well, not everybody wants to talk about healthcare, but this group will talk about healthcare when we play Fortnite. So go figure.
Yeah.
Which I love. I think from the larger perspective, it really does come down to getting things done. And that sounds so simplistic, but it really only takes wanting to do something. And I feel like our leaders are obstructionists more time than not, irrespective of party. And they stand in the way of real progress. And
yep.
Say what you want about the incoming administration. Okay. I'm not a fan, but I'm a fan of disrupting the norms. So I hope they do something with some success because it will only benefit the middle class if they can do something effectively. Is a good word. But look, you know me, I'm up the middle on all these things. So I'm like, show me a win. Let's go. Let's get a win for the American people. Let's get a win for the middle class. Let's get a win for the working class. But let's not lose sight of moral compass. Taking out executives and even tweeting about executives as if you're basically putting a target on their back, to use your phrase, that is not productive. It's okay to disagree with people. We shouldn't even be afraid to disagree with people. That's why I try to say these things these days, because I want, and we talk about how far this whole entire streaming thing has come. But my whole thing is, after years of getting to know people, if I'm speaking about something, at least by now that more times than not, I'm speaking from my heart. So instead of vilifying people for their differences, why not try to find common ground? Why not celebrate differences? And I think that this evolution of this channel has really spoken to that, and it becomes a quality over quantity game. And that brings me to the next topic, which is this whole Live Fest thing, because I went to New York. I had no idea we were going to do this. They told me there was this next round where we would have a read-preview. I had some really fantastic conversations with peers who are not only just positive individuals who are there to uplift, but I learned so much. And look at what I've been doing over these last couple of days. And Kensie, 3 years ago, I would have never even sat on camera and just talked to people.
Right. Yeah, I'm actually surprised to see you involved in all the Live Fest stuff, because I feel like, a couple weeks ago or whatever, you weren't really interested in it. Did something, come up at the TikTok meeting in New York last week?
So what happened at the meeting was that there was a second chance opportunity. we played to the top 200, which I thought was just a really good motivator for kind of the return to streaming and the broadening of what we're doing. And then when this reprieve was brought to my attention, I was like, well, you know what? We should play to that because I like the structure. So so as much as I didn't think we were even going to touch it, I like the structure because the structure gets the support and the support allows me to make a living and continue to grow. But then we have these amazing supporters who are competitive as much as not more than I am. So now we're actually like fighting for the top 20 the other night, and we got the top 20. So now you get the top 20 and it resets and it's 3:30 in the morning and we rocket into the top of the leaderboard. So then it just becomes an investment. You're like, well, at this point we're in it to win it. But
right. Yeah. No, go ahead. No, I was going to say, yeah, it's incredible. I feel like the other day I looked and, you guys were at 20 or something. And then I looked last night and you guys are all the way up to number 3. It's amazing what people have done.
Well, they're 2 different leaderboards. That top 20 reset the other night, and then it's a 2-day round to finish it up. So
I see.
Because we got in that top 20, we advanced, and now we have the opportunity to stay in the top 3, and then TikTok takes us to London.
Wow, that would be amazing.
I mean, how far is this channel going? And it's just one of those things, too, where the name of the podcast is Under the Influence. And the reason I started that, as you know, is I wanted to start to learn from my peers about their process and just pick up different things. So my objective going to TikTok headquarters for the meeting was to get some technical insight on how to do some marathon streaming and some technical things to make it kind of fluid that I want to accomplish, not what we're doing now. So I went there thinking ahead for a much larger plan and had the conversations, not just with the tech guys, but with my peers, just about the whole of it. And then the opportunity presented itself, and I'm like, well, here's the creative getting ahead of the technical side. So instead of me getting hung up on the wires and the IP addresses and the ports and all the crazy stuff, I'm like, the camera's on a tripod. We'll go from the kitchen. We'll go to do the podcast. We'll go to the printer. We'll go to the garage. And like, I have to wrap my head around the fact that like, you cover the lens for a second or the camera's shaky. People just want to go with you. And it's like just such a learning experience. And I watch people like Sharif, and I met this guy, Paranormal Santa, and we have the same brand. And just, I learn every single time just by listening, So it's been crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a kind of like a trial and error thing, and just seeing what sticks and what people are interested in. So it's something that's definitely new, but I think it's even evolved over like the last week, or probably longer than that, whenever you started doing like the baking series. And
yeah, I mean, we're gonna pop popcorn with my R2D2 popcorn maker later.
That's amazing.
So it's still Disney. And it's an experience, because the experience is hanging out with everybody. It's like one big telethon right now.
Right.
But it's been a blast, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And then you get these moments where like Ellis calls in. Like, you missed it last night when Ellis called in and I was talking to him, what does CEO stand for? And he got executive right. And then I tried to convince him that the O in CEO stood for old man. So
you're not wrong.
You're right. So I was trying to convince him that it stood for Chief Executive Old Man. And then like, and Kensie, I go, and he's on speakerphone. I go, okay, so Ellis, who's the Chief Executive Old Man of the Walt Disney Company? And Ellis goes, Bob Iger. And then he just hung up the phone. Kensie, I was red in the face for an hour and a half. I had tears rolling. I couldn't see the screen.
That's amazing.
I don't know why he brought it. I called him this morning. I go, Ellis, you like, your timing's impeccable. You just like hung up. And you know what he goes? He goes, I couldn't take it anymore.
He couldn't take it? He couldn't take what?
Exactly. Me. He couldn't take it anymore.
That is a first.
It's amazing.
That's a first if he can't take you anymore. Usually it's the other way around.
I know. This is the kind of growth we're experiencing.
You better be careful with your Ellis interactions, because he's just one day he's just gonna go off on you.
Well, Ellis is gonna come over one day. We're gonna play Will It Float with Ellis. Can we do that?
Ellis said he's coming for Mardi Gras.
I heard. His mom's so funny. She goes, I go, oh, Stephanie, I sent another packet. And I go, so like, hold it over his head if you need leverage, you know? And she goes, no, that'll be fine. This is a text message. And I said, oh, okay. I said, well, do what you want. So then the other day she goes, I got a second package from you. Is this for Christmas? I go, no, it's just stuff for Ellis. I said, he always provides so much content. She's like, oh, you're so nice. She goes, I don't think we're going to give this one to him right away because he's been bothering me lately. So I'm going to hold it for leverage. I was like, whatever you need to do, Stephanie.
That's amazing. So she probably thinks this is all hilarious, you know, like obviously we love Ellis, but you know, he picks on us, we pick on him. It's just a fun little,
but that's what it is, right? Like everybody's on the same playing field. So I get a call from Ellis today and I hear his brother-in-law's on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, the one you met last time they were in town.
Yeah. Well, we've hung out a few times. Yeah. They're great people. So he's like he's yelling in the background. He's saying hi to me. I'm like, let me get this off speakerphone just in case, you know, but they're just such amazing people. Like, and it just cracks me up. And the thing with Ellis, I said to him on the phone this morning, I go, there's a tiny comedian writing those jokes inside your head. And he goes, oh, probably. It's like, you know, he's just, and then when he laughs at himself and I just lose it. And you're like, this guy is comedy gold. You just have to harness him.
Right. Hey, crazier things have happened if he thinks that there's a comedian inside his head.
That's right. And so all that to say that like the evolution of the channel and like the way that comedy comes out and the way that you experience that just by hanging out, you couldn't write that. You can't plan for it. It's happening on a phone call. It's not happening in the chat. I mean, it's the kind of things that make people laugh. And I mean, you could sit there and watch two people battle and do nothing. But my whole thing is you get people laughing. My whole MO in life is if you can make people laugh, you can get whatever you want. Like,
right.
When I went, so as you know, I got upgraded twice on my Delta flight to New York.
Okay. Just a quick flex.
Well, it's actually a segue, Kensie, because even though neither one of us planned, we're always on top of the game. So Kensie and I are texting back and forth. Because she's like, oh my God, like you got to like update me on the perks of the card and all these things. But I go up and get an upgrade on the first trip to Delta Comfort Plus. No problem. Like I just go up. I ask the lady and she's like, just doesn't even blink. I don't even have to like try.
That's so nice.
So sweet. On the flip side, I go up to the lady and I asked her before I go to the lounge because I want to like walk it out because Nick was like the distance between the lounge and where you're boarding, like your gate, just be, you know, heads up. So I go and I say to the lady, I go, hi, I just want to see if you had any upgrades. And then remind me because I'm going to tell you my other trick. And she goes, oh, we don't have any upgrades right now. And I go, no, I understand. I just wanted to check. You don't have any upgrades right now. And she goes, now. And she starts laughing. And I go, now. And she just started laughing. And I said, thank you. And I walked away. So I come back, they're boarding, and I go off to the guy, not her. And I go, are there any upgrades available at this point? And he goes, there's no upgrades available. All right, whatever. You can't win them all.
Yeah.
And I go and she's now scanning the boarding passes. And I go to scan my boarding pass and like it freezes for a second and then it prints out my upgrade.
Oh my gosh.
She quietly upgraded me.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Listen, it wasn't
like not now, but
it wasn't my really like looks. I can tell you that much. All right. So
listen, those gate agents deal with so many grumpy people, whether it's flight delays or, you know, I don't know, mechanicals on planes, all that kinds of stuff. They never get treated by kind people. So I'm sure that was just something that she appreciated.
Well, because sometimes in a high stress environment, if you can just make somebody laugh, it'll make their day.
Did you see I'm kind of switching gears, but did you see the hearing with all of the airline CEOs? And I forgot the guy's name, but he essentially was calling out all these airlines for incentivizing their gate agents to catch people with oversized bags that should be considered carry-ons. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, you know what? I did hear. I know what you're talking about. I thought I didn't even hear about it, but I think I actually saw a clip or I read about it.
Yeah. I mean, I know we want to talk about discount airlines, you know, at another time, and we definitely can, but like this is just a small piece of it, that all these CEOs are incentivizing their employees to essentially catch people to check a bag because their carry-on exceeds the size. And I think it was either, I think it was either like Frontier or Spirit that charges their employees $10 a bag that they catch. Like every employee is $10
because they're probably
for each bag.
If they're netting a $40 profit, get past 10 off to the employee. That's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't check bags, so like this last trip, I only to get through security did I have my rolling, my small little rolling luggage, my backpack, and then I have this sling bag that I bought in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I'm in line for the airplane, and this lady starts. She goes, "Oh, Tokyo? How'd you like it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love it. It was great." She goes, "Oh yeah." She goes, "Well, I got a friend, and he works in Disneyland, and he just got up," and I'm like, and like she slowly start walking away. I'm like, But anyway, I had this Tokyo sling bag, and I like purposely put my devices for security through them so that I didn't have to like get completely dismantled going through security. But I then condense it all down so that I basically am getting away with a backpack and a small suitcase. And that usually never is an issue. Every once in a blue moon, they'll be like, "No, you got to check the suitcase." But very, very rarely, and very rarely with Delta, at least in my experience. But incentivizing, yeah, that's a problem.
Well, and Delta isn't even the problem child out of all of these guys, like Delta, you can get a free personal item, a free carry-on. And then if you have the Amex card, you get a free checked bag. Like it's the reason I fly Delta all the time. And obviously there's a lot of flights out of where I live too. But aside from like the checked bag or the, catching people for the bags too, they're also asking passengers prior to picking a seat what their demographic is. So like asking for age, gender, and then it gives them dynamic pricing for the seat. And the guy was like, "Why do you ask people their personal information before they pick a seat?" And he was like, "Well, we've done that since 2014. He goes, "I didn't ask you when, I asked you why." And they're just laying into these CEOs. It was so satisfying to watch. I think I watched it probably like 5 times because that stuff fuels me. I hate that they can get away with stuff like this because people just book, flights on whatever airline is like the cheapest or the nonstop flight. Like people need to get to where they're going. So they're going to book the flight anyway.
But you're saying they're profiling you. So they're going to say, "Oh, you can afford to pay a little bit more based off of the data we have on."
Yeah, essentially.
That should be illegal.
Well, that's what they were getting at. They were like, "So why do you do that? Because obviously that's wrong." so
you should
yeah.
Delta, because for all the bad things you can say about the airlines, let me just tell you the one good thing that I observed on this last trip, and I was kind of flabbergasted. So I'm kind of waiting to board on the airplane, and this guy goes up to the front, and he's got like almost like what would look like a, and I'm not making a joke, so please don't take it as a joke, anybody. But he's almost got like a gas mask on, not just like an N95 mask, but like one of those like full on like plastic gas masks, like a full like real one. Like he must wear this all the time.
Okay.
So it turns out he's got a peanut allergy. And it turns out he's got lots of other allergies.
Poor guy.
So they make an announcement as soon as we get on. They make an announcement before we get on the plane that there's somebody on board with a peanut allergy, very sensitive peanut allergy. Then we get on the plane and they say, they will not be giving out any products with wheat, any products with peanuts. They will be limiting the distribution of snacks based off of this one individual's needs. And they've also encouraged everybody else to not open any similar products with those ingredients. And the way I watched them go above and beyond to ensure the safety of this individual, I just thought was such a glimmer of hope for humanity. And I know the cynic in me could argue the liability issue, and then I think about the tragedy of that poor young woman that passed away at the boxed lunch event with a peanut allergy. Yeah. But the way that they just set everybody up and they multiple times and reiterated it, it was just so, I was like, wow, like people care. And then I was like, I had a bag of pretzels in my backpack. And I was like, oh my God, what a Larry David moment. Because like impulsively was like, oh, I'm going to eat some pretzels. I'm like, can you imagine?
Oh my gosh.
It's like
the one thing that you have one job on your plate.
Larry David moment. I'm like, everybody's doing really great. I think I'll celebrate with some pretzels.
Oh my God.
I didn't do it. Obviously, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. But I was like, everybody's really, really great. I think I'll celebrate humanity for the first set.
Oh my gosh. Well, luckily you didn't do that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I have so much respect for a lot of these pilots. I'm a little bit of a worrier when I fly. Like turbulence is one of my least favorite things.
I love turbulence.
But what?
I love turbulence.
Said nobody ever.
I love turbulence. I don't even wear my seatbelt. You know when they tell you to have your seatbelt on? I just pretend to have my seatbelt on. I'm like, let's go. Let's get a little air in the tush.
This isn't a roller coaster.
Why not?
Oh my gosh. It's funny because my fiance will always this is bad. I text when I drive sometimes, especially, in the car with my fiance. He'll like call me out on it. And he's like, you're afraid of flying, but you can text and drive.
That's right.
I'm like, yes, that's correct.
So we got stuck on the runway for like an hour and a half leaving New York the other day.
Yeah.
I can only empathize with the pilot clearly because he kept making announcements. You could hear that he just wanted to go. Mm-hmm. I have never seen a pilot. I've never seen a pilot gun the plane off the runway.
He's like, let's get out of here.
Oh, he literally was like, I'm like, because the dude's eyes are probably glazing over, sitting on the runway, right? It's like, he probably I'm thinking he's texting people. We gunned it. I was like, holy smokes. We didn't even, how like, it's like a crescendo. You're like, runway, lift off. This guy was like, it was like rock and roller coaster, 0 to 60. We're like, we got to get to the show. Right into the sky. I was like, holy smokes.
Well, was it one of the last flights of the day? Like,
Maybe.
He probably was trying to get to his hotel and he's like, I'm done with this.
But here's the trick that I learned. So I was originally supposed to stay till Saturday. And I didn't want to for a variety of reasons. There was a TikTok party and I got the scoop and I was like, no, I did everything I accomplished. And I'm glad in many ways because I didn't even, originally, didn't think we'd be doing all this. But I just roll with the punches. And so I call up and it's like $130 to switch my flight. And I'm like, I'm not paying $130.
No.
So it's Tuesday and I call and they're like, well, we can switch your flight to Friday at no cost. So, okay. So Wednesday morning, I do the radio show from Nick's and I get off the air and I'm in my 24-hour window or whatever it was. So now I open up the app and now I'm 24 hours on Wednesday from No. I think they moved me from Saturday to Thursday is what they did.
Okay.
They moved me from Saturday to Thursday.
But it gave you that time change window.
Close enough. So by doing one push from Saturday to Thursday at zero cost, I woke up Wednesday morning, was in 24 hours, and then switched my flight again at a zero cost. So instead of spending $100, and by the way, I looked at canceling my flight and I did the math on canceling and buying it one way. Like Nick's the same way. So I'm working. Nick and I are like I've noticed this in third grade. We're like brothers. So like same mentality. Like he'll go buy something and spend 6 weeks making sure he got a good deal on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So this was the way to do it, and to keep the ticket and just do the zero change. So instead of doing one big change, I did 2 incremental changes. And then I got to basically leave. Like I was done the show. Nick's like, well, when are you leaving? I'm like, right.
That's a great hack though. I never thought about that. And when you get like the flight change at no cost, I have to assume it's because your departure flight was the same price. You know how like depending on like the time of day and the load size and everything. Okay, that makes sense. Wow, that's a great hack.
But you wouldn't have gotten that a few days out because of the pricing change.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So as long as I could basically get the same exact deal, like the same, not the deal, but the same exact
same flight, yeah.
Same information, just gotta get close enough to it to get to the zero, if that makes sense.
Right.
And yeah, so that was it. Instead of trying to do one big change of flight, I just made 2 incremental changes to save $130.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the credit card has been worth it.
I love the credit card. I mean, two Delta Comfort Plus upgrades and meeting Frazier, the card paid for itself.
Yeah.
Meeting Frazier was priceless.
I got to look into it. I keep getting these like promos in the mail, you know, if you upgrade and you spend this amount of money, you get these miles. But I was so angry. I think I told you this, that I saw recently that you get these perks or like a credit to use over the year with Dunkin' and Uber. And I was like, why am I not getting these perks? I have the gold card. And then, you know, I complained about it to customer service because I was like, I want $100 in Uber credits. And they were like, oh, no, that's for the American Express gold card, not the Delta American Express gold card. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I don't know. I mean,
but you got to look at all that stuff because like, I don't even like, I got this one because my priority was wanting the lounge and the free tickets and not all the other perks. And I thought I had like clear and all these other perks.
Right.
We're going to have to do a whole travel episode. And Nick really put me onto this because pre-pandemic, I wasn't dialed into this. And then, you know, you and I started talking about this stuff. But like we'll have to do a whole travel episode because if you're really, really savvy with it, you can actually like, you can get your miles off your Starbucks, you can get your miles off your Lyft, and you can tie it all to your Delta, and then
and Marriott,
the whole thing. And it's worth doing. I'm a little bummed. See, here's the thing. So I got 2 upgrades, and I'm at Frazier. So then I land back in Orlando, and I go to the lounge, and I was like, "Is Ted Danson here?" And there's nobody there. Like now I just expect that every time I go to the Delta Lounge, I'm going to be greeted by an 80s sitcom star.
It's MCO. What are you expecting?
Ted Danson. I'll settle for George Wendt.
Okay. You know who I have seen somebody famous at the MCO airport. This was like years ago, but I got off the plane and Lou Holtz was standing right there. I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, what did you say? Who?
I didn't hear what you said. You said Lou Holtz.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
There's somebody I know that you don't know?
Sure wasn't Lou Dobbs.
Who?
Exactly.
No, Lou Holtz is an incredible football coach from Notre Dame. And I mean, obviously I'm a huge Notre Dame fan, so that's why I know him, but he's a white.
As soon as I didn't recognize the name, I knew it was sports related.
Yeah, it's sports related.
Yeah.
But if anybody is a sports fan, you know who Lou Holtz is.
My brain has so much information. Sports is just like the one category. Like if I went on Jeopardy and they were like, any category I'd have a chance at except for sports. They put up sports, I'd be like, it better be about Al Michael. Look, let me do the ads really, really quick. Okay. And then I have to tell you a quick story that's going to make you laugh, and maybe it'll dovetail into the radio show next week about staying with me. All right.
Okay.
And again, we'll do a whole travel episode because there's so much to talk about. Today, we're just going to kind of do a quick show at about an hour or so and then get back to everything else we're doing over here. So the show is Under the Influence, wherever you get your podcast, 4 shows a week. So much love and support from everyone today. We're going to spice up your kitchen this holiday season. Pampered Chef has all the goodies with spatulas and mandolins to amazing pots, pans, and knives. Plus, don't miss out on small appliances like the deluxe air fryer and coffee maker to make your holiday cooking a breeze. Reach out to Colleen Herman, pamperedchef.com/PWS/Colleen Herman. Are you on vacation and the unthinkable happens? Have you been injured in an accident? Don't wait to get the help you deserve when you need it the most. At the law offices of Nicole and Kennedy, they fight for your rights and work tirelessly to get you the compensation you deserve. And they're here to guide you through every step of the way. Call now 305-213-5438 for a free consultation. 305-213-5438 for a free consultation today. The law office of Nicole M. Kennedy. Last minute shipping from the parks? Go check out my friends at the UPS store located right behind the Magic Kingdom at 6526 Old Brick Road. They're going to help you out with packing up those last minute purchases. They've also got a notary service, copy services, and P.O. boxes for all of the locals, including cast members. So go check out the UPS store at 6526 Old Brick Road. And, of course, William.bailey Travel for all of your destination planning. Whether you're looking to go to Disney or a Disney cruise, William.bailey is your solution to planning a customizable vacation at an incredibly competitive rate. William.bailey at academytravel.com, William.bailey at academytravel.com, or go fill out a travel form on my website, Royces.com. And sometimes, Kensie, we are so worried about this life in this moment, we forget to plan for the life of those we leave behind. With no estate plan, you can be leaving those you love the most with high taxes, probate fees, and an incomplete or divided estate and legal fights and fees. But Will and Trust is not just for the Rockefellers anymore. If you live in Florida, contact RK Law today to make an appointment and safeguard the future of those you love. Send an email to Russell at rklawpro.com today to schedule your appointment. That's Russell at rklawpro.com. And those are the sponsors.
So fun.
Somebody said, just so you know, nobody answers the phone at the law office you advertise. Listen, the sponsors pay. I just do the advertising. I'm sure somebody's there. If you leave a message, they'll get back to you. All right. Now, Kensie, Nick was so nice. I've known Nick since the 3rd grade. Nick is his brother. And, much like, you and other people in my life, it's all about giving each other a hard time,
Of course.
It's just way more fun that way. And even though if somebody doesn't get it, it sounds really, really cruel sometimes. I find it to be hilarious. Sort of like East Coast mentality, okay? Even though you're technically Midwest, it's an East Coast thing, and you definitely have it. So we're all kind of cut from the same cloth. So if you had a friend that did something while they were staying with you, you would absolutely hold it over their head, right? Like if there was just right. So I'm on the couch, right, and I'm sleeping, and it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm in a deep, deep sleep. And Nick, they got the whole upstairs there, right? So I'm on the couch, and there's an upstairs area.
Yeah, you're in your REM cycle.
I'm deep in sleep, and in my dream, I started screaming.
Okay.
So I wake up in the morning and I do the radio show, and then Nick gets up and Jason gets up, and they, everybody start milling about. And I get off the air and I go, "Hey, did I scream last night?" And Nick goes, "Wait, was that what that was?" And I go, "Oh no, I thought that was in my dream." Nick goes, "I didn't know what that noise was." And I go, "Oh no. Oh no." I was like, "I'm so sorry." And Nick goes, "I have this snoring app that records everything while I sleep.
No, stop.
Let me go see if I can find it." And he goes, "And it won't be hard to find because you'll be able to see the peaks in the wave file." And he goes to a snoring app, and lo and behold, he isolates it, and I have it. And maybe I'll play it on the radio show next week if somebody calls in and requests it.
Oh my gosh, I have to hear this.
Kensie, I'm yipping. I'm yipping I'm yipping.
Like a dog having nightmares.
Yeah, I'm yipping like a dog having nightmares. Like, my name was like, well, you know how when you scream or like you talk in your sleep but nothing really comes out? That's what it was. That's what it was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you normally do that, or is this like
I normally record my sleeping.
Well, I know, but you like subconsciously knew because it was in your dream or whatever was happening.
I must have been half awake. Have you ever been half awake and you can like hear yourself snoring?
I have had it where I'm like half awake and my body like jolts. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, the body.
That happens to me so much. And I read that like it's like your body thinks that it's like dying or something because it's so relaxed.
Well, have you ever like had that thing where like your head snaps back, like whether you're on an airplane or you're sitting in like,
Yes.
a lecture hall or something?
Or in the car, yeah.
Yeah. So needless to say, not only did this happen, but Nick inadvertently documented it like a good friend. And if it was Donnie, he would already be on the Discord. Let's just be honest, okay? So thankfully, Nick is not in the Discord, and he never will be. But I have the clip. He sent me the clip.
That's so funny. Do you know like what was going on in your dream though? Like what made you scream?
No. I have no
Just being
idea.
chased or something?
I don't even want to play it right now. That's like rude, Bonnie. It's a joke. It's love. Bonnie said that's rude.
Well,
It's just
she did take those pictures, which was pretty funny, but she asked if she should crop your face out, which I thought was nice.
Is it the default always crop my face out? Anything.
No, don't crop it out. Don't crop it out.
Even if it's my wedding photo, crop my face out.
I was just wondering why yesterday, or was it, I don't know, Friday or something, I come onto the live and all of a sudden I just hear like a meow from your end. I was like, what is going on?
We were playing Will It Float, talking wild things to do on the live. Wild. I mean, we're playing Will It Float.
Yeah. Just trying to get it all in before maybe TikTok goes away.
I mean, why not? Why not? I took
that video of you taking all the stuff was hilarious.
Thank you. I told them to promote it. I think they might promote it, actually. I think marketing might actually boost it.
Well, what else are they going to do? You know, like.
Yeah. No, I had this idea. And I was like doing it by myself. Like I walked in there and I didn't know Sharif was going to be there. And then I saw Sharif. So then Sharif was like, yeah, I'll shoot it. You know, everybody helps everybody make content.
Right.
And it was just a blast. It was just a blast. And I told the security guard, I go, listen, I got to take this espresso machine and go out that door. I'll be back.
Because you already have one.
Listen. And he looked at me and he's like, whatever.
They're just going with it.
Can you see how many fingers I'm holding up on the screen, Kensie? Oh my Lord.
But yeah,
all right.
It sounded like it was a good time, and I've always wanted to go to New York during the holidays, but yeah, I'm not a New York fan. I like Chicago.
Don't go to New York with a bunch of live streamers.
Oh, that's a shame. That's what I was going to do next month.
You couldn't find 30 Rockefeller Center.
You know, there's a thing called Google Maps.
There's a thing called Look Up. There's a giant Comcast sign on the top of the building with a peacock next to it. You don't need a map to find 30 Rockefeller Center. Follow the homing beacon.
Right.
Lord.
Yeah, it just looked like it was chaotic. And I mean, I'll probably go at some point in my life, but I hope I have enough money where I can just stay at one of the hotels like right down there and not have to worry about the subway and getting back to wherever I'm staying.
No, for sure. No, I love the city. I love the trip. I'm joking around, but it was a lot of fun. It was a blast.
Yeah, that's good.
It was a blast. So, all right. Look, I know you. What are you doing? You going to a Christmas thing? What are you doing?
Yeah, our zoo here does this like light display. I think it's like one of the best in the country, but yeah, we have memberships to the zoo, so we're just going to go and see all the Christmas lights and everything. So it's a tradition.
You think it's one of the best in the country, or they say it's one of the best in the country?
I think other people say it's one of the best in the country.
That's a lot of layers.
Our zoo is famous. For anybody that knows the Cincinnati Zoo, we have these like hippos and I don't know, some other stuff. Did you hear about the Harambe incident? Is that familiar to you?
Didn't he die?
Yeah, the gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Cincinnati Zoo.
Yeah. And you're saying we should the best Christmas Carol?
Well, in Montana,
Delirious. It went to Christmas Zoo.
yeah, you're like running 17 hours on this thing. No, we had we had the gorilla incident, and then like 2 months later, we had this like premature hippo born, and I was like, that was the biggest like PR savior that this zoo could have, because everybody was so mad about. No, not Mudang. Isn't Mudang in like Thailand?
I don't know. Is it Ohio?
No, Fiona the hippo.
I have never heard of her.
Oh, she's a legend.
No, apparently not, because I've never heard of her.
Well, just because you don't know who she is doesn't mean she's not famous.
Just because you say it's the best Christmas light display in a zoo in America doesn't make it. See what I did there? Thank you. All right, Kensie, I agree.
Go get some sleep.
What? What is that?
You just said it yourself. You're delirious.
Oh, I'm so delirious. But I'm glad that we got to do the podcast,
Yep.
and I have a list, by the way. Like, I keep notes. I don't know if you do. I'm sure you do.
I try to.
Because there's South Korea. We have to talk about South Korea at some point.
Yes.
Okay. And the DMZ and the amusement park there, and how they have Skyliners from the same company as Disney.
Oh, yeah. And Dunkin' and Starbucks or whatever.
Now, do they have mobile ordering at the DMZ?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Right?
Well, at the time that I went, they only had Dunkin'.
Look, I told you what I want to do. I want to take that 3-hour boat from Tokyo to South Korea.
It's so worth it. I don't know how you get to Seoul from there, because Seoul is on like the other side of the country, but
Sure,
you know, I'm sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Wait, what else is on your list?
So did you know BuzzFeed produced the show Hot Ones?
No, I didn't know that.
And they just sold it to the guy that hosts the show.
Oh, okay. So
I mean, some of this stuff could trickle into the radio show next week, because some of it's just conversational. But I'm fascinated because I didn't know I didn't know BuzzFeed owned it. But moreover, it fascinates me. You've seen Hot Ones, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's just a talk show with a gimmick. Like, it's like as broad as one can get. You don't watch Hot Ones for Hot Ones. You watch Hot Ones to see the personality of the individual that you like.
Right.
So I'm just fascinated that could sell for the amount of money it sold for, which is like millions of dollars.
My stepdad did like a mock episode of Hot Ones with like a vendor. He works at like an aerospace company, and they did one with like a vendor and his boss. I'm like, that is some relationship building right there.
That's kind of brilliant, though.
I know.
I mean, look, the structure of Hot Ones, I mean, it makes sense. But you look at that and you go, okay, it's the perception of something that's edgy, but the only thing that's edgy is the hot wing. It's like, it's the most like the middle of the road. You go on there to see somebody that you enjoy be themselves. You don't go on there for the host. You don't go on there for the hot sauce, but yet people buy the hot sauce. So it's just genius all the way around. But if you just look at the structure of it, it's just like the way it's designed to be what it is. It's just kind of amazing. And even Disney at some point, they put Donald Duck on there. They did like they did Donald Duck on Hot Ones.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. Yeah, I think it just like removes a layer of, you know, like people have to put on the best version of themselves during interviews. And it's like, this just feels more authentic and genuine.
But neither one of us got that memo.
We could do a virtual Hot Ones.
Oh my gosh. We could do a lot of things. All right. So now, this is the last thing on my notes that I'll bring up. So if I bring up everything, we'll never get the show over.
I know.
But,
we'll talk about the things that we're supposed to be talking about later.
yeah, as we often do with like a 30-minute wrap-up show. And
Right.
But so I mentioned sort of how far this channel has gone. And how far this channel has fallen. How far we've come as a channel. And, I was doing, what were we doing? We were 3D printing and somebody made the joke, will it float?
Okay.
I actually did Bonnie. But anyway, somebody said, will it float? Maybe it was Leah. I don't know. So I got a pot off my stove and I filled it with water and we just dropped it in there and it was, will it float? And I woke up the next morning and I'm like, wow, people really, really like it. I'm going to go run to Walmart and get a fish tank. Because like it's Live Fest and, in true entrepreneurial spirit, you got to spend money to make money. Let me level up.
Mm-hmm.
So I go over to get a fish tank, the only one on the shelf, exactly what I wanted. They had one on the shelf. I get it. But we got to have a little gravel. Now you got to make it look good. So I get a bag of gravel. And then I see they have like little trees for like $2. I'm like, a couple little trees. And then I see they have a little SpongeBob pineapple, little from Bikini Bottom. So I'm like, okay, let me get that too. So now I go to check out and the woman at the cash register goes, oh, did you get the fish yet? And I go,
no, ma'am, that is not the intent of this purchase.
I go, ma'am, there's no fish. Please don't ask questions. And she looks at me and she starts laughing. And I go,
you're better off.
Yeah, it's for Father's Day. And I go, I am so sorry. It's like at this point, the woman's just looking at me like, please leave.
Yeah, and she's just confused and speculating at this point.
Oh my God.
You might have made her day. She's like, this crazy man?
Like,
it was a Walmart.
Yeah, I bought everything but the fish. I got the gravel. I mean, I might as well have gotten fish food.
Yeah, I know. But the funniest thing about that whole story is there's probably weirder things that have come out of a Walmart in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just another day.
Yeah. Oh, my. All right.
Just another world down there.
It is. So, we will talk. I'll let you go. I know you're on a timeline. I appreciate you. Thank you for doing the podcast live with us today. And, geez, this time next week, well, it'll be a whole other thing. So, Lord knows where we'll be. Probably ready to go to London,
Yeah, good luck with Live Fest and everything. Rooting for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right, talk soon.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you soon.